Greetings everyone, welcome to ChessAdvancedd. This game was played in day 2 of Clutch Champions. With the white pieces, we have the current reigning world champion Gukesh Dommaraju facing off against the Fabiano Caruana of 2014. Well, I'm just kidding, but obviously he's an absolute legend, and this is how the current Fabiano Caruana is playing like. And he beat Magnus 2-0, and now he's looking for revenge against Gukesh, because Gukesh on day 1 beat 2-0 to Fabiano Caruana, and now he's definitely in revenge mode. Let's see what he does with the black pieces against the world champion. Hey, Gukesh opens with d4. We have knight to f6, knight to f3, g6 now, and now just going for c4. This is the king's Indian defense. Hey, bishop to g7 and just knight to c3, castles now and e4, and now just d6, bishop to e3 and just knight to g4. The common response in this position is normally, first bishop to e2 and then bishop to e3, but he goes bishop to e3 directly, hence inviting knight to g4, and knight to g4 now comes with an attack towards the bishop. You have to either move it or, you're gonna just ruin your pawn structure. So hey, bishop to g5 was played. Now comes h6 and just bishop to h4, g5 now, advancing it further and further, and no, you don't gain anything from sacrificing the knight. Hey, bishop to g3 and now just e5, just pushing an attack towards the center and taking more space, because somewhere along the line you're gonna have to with moves like e5, c5. Hey, h4 was played, and now just comes e captures on d4 and just knight captures, and hey, just knight to c6, just challenging that knight on the center. Or you can trade it and ruin the pawn structure, but that's not the way to play this. So hey, just knight to f3 back, and hey, g caps on h4. And now there are 3 ways to capture this: first with the knight, second with the bishop, and third with the rook. If you capture with the bishop, that comes with an immediate attack towards the queen, but the thing is that you want the queen to be on e8. So I am giving you a tempo, but at the same time I'm allowing your queen to move freely on the next move, thereby giving you a free tempo on getting towards attacking my king. So that's generally not a principal idea. And capturing with the knight is fine. You can maybe somewhere along the line, you can just bring the knight to f5 and your position should be fine. But hey, the best move in this position is actually rook captures. Yes, sacrificing the right to castle. And if you go for this f5 approach of going all aggressive, you play queen to d5 check, and once the king moves, now king to h8, queen to d2, because the queen does not belong there, and with just one tempo, the queen can be kicked out. So better yet, just move it yourself. Here after f captures, knight captures, you play queen to e7, just spinning the knight, and now just going for this bishop to d3, and the position would be fine. You are with an advantage, and somewhere along the line you're going to utilize all of those pieces that are active and move the king to f1 and get it to safety. Or you could somewhere along the line even try to castle queenside. That is a really long shot, but you can, and you can get the king to safety and go all out with the weak king. But here after g captures, knight caps on h4 was played, and now just comes to rook to e8. Instead of the queen, you're having the rook towards the king, and even that's fine. Hey, bishop to e2, and now are you sacrificing a pawn? Because that looks juicy, because you can capture this, and after captures, just go for rook captures. I don't see any problems with it. Well, is f3 going to be a problem in this position? Because it's not. You can, technically speaking, capture this, but well, you're gonna have to do it swiftly. Hey, queen to g5 first, and this is a very nice move, because after all of those things with bishop captures, you were supposed to bring the queen to g5. So Fabi does it first and says like, what do you have? Hey, just knight goes back to f3, attacking the queen. Although the best move was in this position was knight to d5, but no one finds that. Hey, in this position, just queen to g6, pushing the queen away, and queen to d2 now, and bishop caps on c3. Although you can capture here, but you are attacking this twice, and this will come with a tempo towards the bishop. You don't want that to happen, so just b caps on c3. You ruin more of your pawn structure. But if it's fine, it's fine. In the opening, it's fine. But once those pieces gets out of the cage, wherever they go, somewhere along the line, you can double up here towards the e file, and that's going to be a problem. You have to get the queen out. A queen caps on e4, now putting immense pressure here. So now the king cannot move. You cannot castle. Here, knight to d4 was the way to go. Because the thing is that you trade, then you just give me the center, and I'm enjoying that. Queen to g6. If you try to go for a queenside castle, yes, in the open section, now it's fine, because now bishop to f5, and I just play rook to h4. So I'm just putting up pressure myself, and I have counterplay towards your king. Your king is not like it's just completely safe, and bishop captures, this captures somewhere can be an option. So hey, queen to e6, and now just going for bishop to f3, and I'm loving my position. I don't mind with the bishop pair, with the rook already there. maybe I can develop, maybe I can get the queen here. I just like this position, although this is now a temporary problem, but that can be dealt with in many ways. But here in this position, after queen caps on e4, Gukesh decided to go for king to f1. And king to f1 is a fine move. I mean, somewhere along the line, you have to play this, because otherwise your bishop is just hanging and your rook can now freely move towards the attack. And I think he did not want to lose this idea of losing this pawn, so he wanted to attack it, because once the knight will move, that pawn will be weak and you can start to attack. But hey, queen to g6, and now the queen goes back, because now the threat is not that much important. So bishop to f4, and also the thing is that here the queen moved because you want to be able to develop the bishop. And although you could have played this and just put some pressure here, but I don't think so he wanted to do that, so that's why he went back. And now he's going to play bishop to f5 on the next move. So now in this position, bishop to f4, now that pawn is threatened, you're going to have to just move it away. So h5, king to g1, and knight c to e5, and asking, are you interested in maybe a trade? Well, not really. Knight to h4, attacking the queen. Queen moves to e6, and just f3 in this position. And f3 is not really a good move, because the move that you want to play in this position is, well, it's difficult to find, first of all. And the thing is that, hey, rook to e1 would have been really nice. Your rook is out of the game. Why not just utilize it so that the knight somewhere along the line cannot move? And you can also play this knight to f3 back. Maybe some trades are going to happen in the place. And you can also play this bishop back to g3, because that bishop on there could be attacked. It's not like that queen is going to remain forever towards defending that. So all of those was options. But here in this position, f3, a more natural approach. Knight to g6 now, asking for a trade, and this is the best move in this position. So Fabi is just definitely playing smartly. Here in this position, the threat is basically simple. Knight captures bishop, queen captures, and then you lose the piece, and you're currently attacking the bishop twice. So either move it away or do something in this position. The correct response in this position is knight caps on g6, and yes, you give up the bishop, and after this you just trade everything and go into an endgame. But here knight caps on g6 was played, queen caps on e2, we have f captures on g4, and now queen caps on d2, bishop captures, and here just going for g captures. So what have you achieved from all of these trades? Well, not much, honestly, because here after g captures, rook to e2, there's a rook in your camp with your pawn structure shattered. So it's not generally a good idea, because the thing is that there's somewhere along the line you're going to have only one move to be able to survive in this position, and if you don't find that, your position is going to crumble. The move in this position was actually bishop to f4, although you could also go for this bishop to h6, but that will come with a tempo towards the bishop, and you can play h captures on g6 defending this. And once this bishop is captured, now you can go for bishop to f4, or better yet, instead of going for this bishop to f4, you could also go for this c5. D captures, ruin the pawn structure, then go bishop to f4, and after king bishop to d7, because you want the other rook to get into the game, you play just rook to d5, and after rook a to e8, yes, there's very nice control, but ironically this position is still a draw. And if you're able to hold it or not, that's a different story, but still it's a draw by perfect play. After rook to e2, bishop to f4 was played, and he found the right idea, but at what cost? Because the thing is that he was roughly 1 minute 20 seconds, and now he's down to 10 seconds. So he took 1 minute 10 seconds to be able to find this move, and now he's got to make roughly 13 more moves to be able to survive in this position. All perfect moves, because I know how complicated these endgames are going to be. Hey, b6, now this and rook attacking it is an idea. Here just h6 was played, but h6 is not a good idea. Obviously he played this because he did not find anything good. H caps on g6 would have been much better, but here just h6 by a margin of like 2 seconds or something. Bishop to b7, and now just comes rook to h2. King to h7, now comes rook to f1. Maybe if the bishop can move, you can occupy that square, but he completely takes care of it. Fabi here, rook to f8. And now with the move like a3, you're still in the game. Rook to c2, you play rook to c1, asking for a trade. If you trade, my position is fine, only because of the fact that now I don't have a rook which is annoying me towards the second rank. But here after rook to e2, rook to f1, you play a5, and after this bishop to g5, asking for a trade. If you don't trade, you want to still go for this rook captures, g captures, bishop to d8, then it's fine. But what happened in the game is after rook to f8, bishop to g5, he immediately went for bishop to g5, and now it's a problem, because after rook captures, king captures, rook captures on a2, now that pawn is supposed to be there, because that a pawn is going to move forward. Now how are you going to stop the a pawn moving forward? Here he thought bishop to d8 works, but it worked in that line because we had a pawn, and now we don't, and now it's going to be a problem. Here's c5 immediately, but here in this position, maybe you can try to save your position with a move like rook to h4. That's the best move. But after bishop captures on g2, king to e1, rook to a1 check, you have to understand the position is completely lost. King to d2, rook to e2 check, king to e3, bishop to f1, just targeting this, and it's just very difficult. King to f3, and now in this position it's just a lost position. Maybe you can hope for some miracle, but it's not going to happen, because here after c5 bishop to c7 was played, but bishop to c7 completely loses because here just a5, and rook to h4, g5, and after rook to g4, here a beautiful move by Fabi which ends the game right on the spot. If you want to find it, find the final blow that Fabi delivered here, you can just do it. I'm gonna ask you to pause the video and have at it. So congratulations to everyone who's able to find this move. The move is this beautiful rook captures on g2, and that's a beautiful move, ending move if you will, because the thing is that you cannot go here, you cannot go here, you cannot go here in this position, you cannot go here because the bishop covers this and the pawn covers all of the rest of the things, and you're forced to trade. And once you trade, bishop captures and king captures, and the thing is that this there is no stopping towards that. So really a phenomenal game by Fabi. I mean, just on the day when he's good, when he's playing your best chess, when he's in the right mindset, in the right rhythm, it's just very difficult to beat this guy. This guy is an absolute monster. But I will give props to Gukesh. I mean, he did try to create some disbalance in the position, but it didn't pan out because he was not able to manage his time well, something he will have to work on in rapid and blitz sections, but he still played a very nice game. So yeah, thank you all for watching. I'll be coming back with some of these games, so stay tuned to the channel, stay updated, and I'll be seeing you guys very soon. Thank you very much for watching.